out there, everybody? Welcome to Blue Green's World, and I am sitting on a nice leather couch here today, which is a rarity for me. Usually I'm sitting somewhere in my basement doing these interviews or whatnot, or a very uncomfortable chair, but I feel nice here today. It's a nice upgrade. And where am I at? I'm at the Akron Recording Company, and it's been about 6 years since I've been here. And they've come a long way. I come back, I've seen concerts here. I've seen some videos come out of here now. Mini volumes of albums are putting out. So with no further ado, who are you? What do you do?
Yeah, I'm Ben Patrick. I'm the owner and operator of Akron Recording Company. I do audio engineering. I'm a videographer. I basically run the studio and handle the bookings and then work with the team to help make the productions happen.
6 years it's been since I've been here. 7 years since you've been actually affiliated, correct?
Yeah, we've been down here on Furnace Street for 7 years. We've technically been around for about 8 years. We were in another location for a year prior to moving to Furnace. So yeah, we're celebrating our 7th year down here this June. So June 2025 is our 7th year down here, 8th year in business. So
that's pretty impressive. To keep afloat in a music industry is tough. You know, bands are tough to keep. I mean, I just looking at the band perspective,
right?
But but it seems like there's been no shortage of creative flow coming through here.
Yeah, I mean, bands are a great majority of what we do. You know, we do tons of recordings, live recordings with bands. But really with COVID, since 2020, we really started to transition and offer a lot more video production, not just for bands, but for brands and local companies and small businesses too. Just because everyone at that time had to get their, they had a budget or they wanted to reach their audience somehow. And so that really helped us transition into doing video production.
Well, so in a sense, COVID kind of worked, I mean, not in a morbid way, but good for you because you have a small location here, right? People can, it could be a lot less restraint, so to speak, and let you record here. So it did work for you a little bit. Yeah, I mean,
it was kind of a blessing in a lot of ways because, that need for digital content was just at an all-time high. And since we had a space and we already have the audio kind of covered, people knew that, bands knew that, organizations that were trying to book bands maybe for the summer festival season, all of a sudden they're trying to pivot and try to figure out what can we do still to reach people. So, of course we did like a socially distanced and everyone was masked up and we tried to take as many precautions as we could, but we kind of were able to keep the show still going through that time. And we've kind of just continued that momentum since.
And I bet you people like coming out here too. It's like a little nestled away spot in Akron. It's past like north of Akron and before North Hill and the valley, kind of in between the bridges, I guess we'll say, somewhere in that no man's land that not many people know about in Akron. Not many people drive down here. I mean, the people that live here come through. I'm sure people commute every day, but for the most part, this area is not really that well known. And you're in this prestigious old Akron Soap Company Building, which, I mean, you'll see some video of it. It's just beautiful. Gosh. So you've also put out a collection, an Akron collection. So we talked about it before, and I think we were on volume 2 before. What are we up to now?
So volume 4 is out, and we have volume 5 in the works, basically. We have, I think all the songs are recorded, but we just have to do some post-production, and then, celebrate the 5th year. We want to make it special somehow, so we'll probably revamp the artwork a little bit and, maybe throw a party or something to commemorate that.
And it's Where in the Hell is Akron, Ohio, right?
Yeah. Yep.
And that was from a T-shirt you found at the Goodwill, I believe.
Right.
Or a thrift store somewhere in Akron.
Correct.
And I have video. I have photographs of it. Yeah. So that's where it all came from, which I think is a great little concept. So, I mean, the thought of that is, you never know when the magic thoughts are going to come to you. When you're out in the middle of nowhere and just something comes to you, or you're in a Goodwill and a T-shirt sets your future up to 5 volumes. It's like, let me answer this question for you.
Yeah.
And it covers all kinds of wonderful musicians, too. I mean, there's a wide variety of music on it. I love listening to it personally. I'm assuming you plan to continue it after this.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good question. I think, I'm kind of at a crossroads. I think 5 5 years or 5 compilations is definitely like a milestone, and I definitely want to see that through. I mean, I am questioning, kind of the format moving forward. It's something that we do. We put up most of the costs to get it pressed, and we like to do a T-shirt to coincide with the pressing, and we'll put it up on Spotify for streaming and all streaming services. And it's a great way. I've had a lot of bands who say, "Oh, this is our most played song, the song that's on the compilation," and it's a great way to kind of get a sampling of the local scene. With us transitioning with video, I've almost contemplated maybe transitioning it and doing a video series instead. 5 is a good number. So if we didn't do another record necessarily after the 5th volume, I wouldn't be mad. I think that's a nice collection to have 5 volumes. Maybe it might transition into something, and kind of playing with some ideas.
I love that idea. There are so many possibilities you could do. You could do a film festival.
Yeah.
Like you could have a competition where people make band videos and you put the best one up. I mean, there's just so many ways.
Yeah.
Spotlight the Akron community. Just so many. And it's just, then it could just be a great video that has nothing to do with Akron. I mean, it's just, it's just a matter of, wow. And that's where it's all going. I mean, people want to see something, hear something, both. You need to cover your bases, I think.
Right.
I have a daughter that's 16 in school, and I ask her, when you do your English papers and your term papers and you turn something in, do you have to do a blog about it, a short paragraph and a video? And no. And I'm like, why? I mean, isn't that how everybody consumes everything? You almost have to do that to stay alive. So I think it's a great idea. And I mean, distributing it wise, you can have some fun with it. Put on VHS tape.
Right, yeah.
Make a bunch of copies and send them out to the world.
We love analog,
I mean, and that would be pretty cost effective, too, to probably make VHS. You could probably do it yourself with a couple tapes. And, wow, I think that's wonderful. Way to innovate. So this spot, I'm assuming you like it here, and it seems to be pretty stable for you?
Yeah, it's been a great location for us. I mean, like I said, we were in another spot for a year, much smaller, a little more restrictive, and the aesthetic of this building, it's 133 years old. The huge beams and the stone walls have just been like a great backdrop for audio video projects. People seem to love it. We get some pretty decent recordings out of the space, and live bands sound good in here, and that's kind of at the core of what we do. But we've used it in a ton of different ways. Like you said, hosting events and doing video production in here it's been awesome.
Yeah, food trucks out there, all kinds of fun stuff. I mean, this is a great little area. And it is kind of, once you're down here, it's like you don't even realize you're in Akron. I mean, it's really surrounded by trees. I mean, if you know the area, you kind of know where you're at. But I've always found this building interesting. When I first moved here, people would drive me around and have a car at the time I came to college in 91. And I would see this building, and it was deserted then. To see it now, I was like, wow, they brought it back to life. On a side note, because people ask, questions all the time when I interview people, this old building, you ever had any freaky experiences in here in an old building like this? Besides maybe your mind wandering a bit.
Yeah, I mean, I know there's only one recorded death that's happened on this property, and it was when they were building it, and someone fell off of the building. I don't necessarily believe in ghosts and all that, and I haven't really had any kind of weird experiences. I've had people who are like experts on that kind of stuff, or self-proclaimed experts, and they've said, there's good energy here. I mean, these the wood has to be like 300 years old, because these huge beams, those trees were definitely mature. I mean, there was a fire that happened here in 1913 or something like that, and so you can still see the char on the ceiling. I mean, that's kind of a cool thing about the space, is that still remnants of an old fire.
The essence is still here. Yeah, this wood has to be really old. If this was built back, this is old growth lumber from this area, so it's hundreds of years old. Wow.
Yeah.
When you really think about the aspect. I ask people that because I find people that just sometimes occasionally, it's like, I don't believe in it, but yeah, I saw something weird one day.
I lived here at the building for a while. There's an apartment, and so I lived here and, spent a lot of time here in the 7 years that we've been down here, and I've had nothing but positive experiences, honestly.
So you're in one band that I know of for sure, right? And that's Benny Lava and the Guavas?
Right.
Did I get that right? Okay.
Yep.
So how long's that been around?
We formed in 2019, and we played our first show at Musica in December. And it was actually kind of stemmed from some songs that I had written and been working on for many years. And basically I got an artist in residency program through Akron Soul Train, and they provided a little bit of funding in this residency that basically formed the band. So kind of got, at that time I had Jerry from Time Cat was playing in the band, Samantha Grace, she's still in the group. But we played a few shows, and then COVID hit, and we did a little bit of recording, and then 2 months later COVID was here. We did something for Porch Rocker that year, and then we kind of laid dormant basically up until 2023. And I've got a few new members, kind of a different configuration of the band, and we've been playing since 2003. We did Porch Rocker, and then we've played Beachland. We did the Colleague Championship at Firestone last year, and yeah, we've got a number of gigs this year too.
What was that like playing at Firestone? I live adjacent to Firestone. The property I live in butts up to it, so I hear it going on. Then the senior, I think it was the senior GP, right? So what's that like?
It was awesome. I used to volunteer the tournament as a kid, when it was still the pro tournament, and it was cool. I mean, it was the best stage I've ever played on. I mean, it was an amazing stage. It was sponsored by the Rock Hall, the stage, and I think they said it was at Bonnaroo or something. So it was this humongous stage, an incredible back line. It was awesome.
Would you say that's probably one of the best places you played at, as far as the stage and the sound and having it together for you?
Oh yeah, for sure, absolutely.
Wow, that's pretty. Yeah, you probably saw some people you reckon. I mean, even if I don't know if you follow golf or not, but and there's I mean, at least there's Daly, and I mean, there's other people.
Yeah, he was there singing songs. He performs on the stage,
It amazes me that guy's alive. I mean, wow.
Yeah, he's a partier.
Jeez, and he's older than I am. He's eventually got to stop, and he doesn't stop at all. I was reading recently, he drinks 12, 14 of these seltzer drinks that he's putting out there.
Yeah, they were
and
selling them there.
These are water. It's not real ones. I don't start drinking hard liquor till later. It's I don't know.
He's a personality for sure.
His poor liver. His poor liver. I just think the nerves of the person that he hits the golf ball off of too. Got to be I wonder how steady he is this morning.
Right.
Yeah, I always think about that when I'm out there. That's an interesting golf course. I've never actually been on it. I've only seen it, and I think I putted around there when I was in school. But anyways, so that's been going on for a while now. Have you put pieces recorded an album or anything? Having all this here and
yeah, I mean, we have one single out. It's called "Get Along." Super proud of that one. It's kind of like a soul, neo soul kind of sound. We have 9 other songs basically recorded, some, with the new band. I have some new players. I have a new vocalist. So, the new band has to put our touches on some of that stuff. But yeah, we have definitely a few more singles due out soon. And, we've done some videos, some little live sessions in the studio. So yeah, I try to utilize the studio as much as I can for my personal projects, but after a while you can get a little burnt out, when you're working in the studio all the time. Then when you have a little downtime, I don't want to run back into the studio, but I like to take advantage of it because it's a great promotion promotional tool for the studio. You know, the band has a decent little following. People seem to like the music, and so if I put a lot of care and attention into a video of my own, then it kind of serves as a great promo for what we do at ARC too.
Yeah, I guess it is tough when you want to do something you're passionate about. You know, I mean, I love doing the interviews, and I do like what I do a lot, but it is tasking sometimes. And there's stuff that I'm passionate about that I want to do later, sci-fi stuff that I mean, I put it out there. No one really cares about it, but I like it, and I really love it. I get it, and I love, like I said, I love doing this stuff too. But it is nice to have something that's different. And I guess the video would give you a separation too, a little bit of a separation. Video and audio they're similar. I mean, waves and audio, I work with both, but it's a little bit different, I guess. That gives you a little bit of a break, I guess.
Yeah, the variety is nice. It's nice to, sit in studio all weekend with a band and, help them with their album, but it's also fun when we've been able to go over to like the Akron Art Museum and film some of their art that they have on display. A little diversity, honestly, kind of keeps things fresh. We also do a little live sound. So, we've done the bicentennial like Kenmore for the bicentennial, and doing live sound for festivals and local community events has also been something, because it's fun. You get to go out, you get to have a fun day, experience some live music, vendors, good food and all that. So
I DJ'd a couple events. I kind of quasi-DJ. I mean, I don't do it that often, but they need a DJ. And I'm like, sure, I'll play. And I just brought my iPad and DJ through an iPad. But it was fun. It's just long, those events.
Oh, yeah.
It's just a long
it's draining.
day. When you're on, that's where I saw you, was at the Kenmore one. And man, it just, I thought afterwards, like, man, that was towards the evening, I think I saw you.
Oh, yeah,
you'd been there
10, 12-hour day easy. And,
and those days are hot. And,
you're doing manual labor out there, so it's not
So I saw the funniest thing. The last time I went it wasn't the bicentennial, of course, but it was Kenmore kickoff. Zoe and my daughter, were there, and we saw a guy riding around with just like jean shorts on, and he had 2 machetes stuffed in the back of his pants, right? Just riding a bicycle, 10-speed, with these big machetes just sticking in the back. And I thought to myself, wow, that is crazy. So this time around I go back, and there's a guy with a python around his neck riding 10-speed through town. So can you?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, the audio. I pulled my audio out. It's okay. We're still going. I pulled my little audio out.
Oh, okay.
Okay, your audio's going.
Good.
I pulled it out of the socket. Yeah, that's all I did. Normally I have the camera right beside me. This is the first time I actually had the camera behind me.
Sam, you can leave if you want. I know it's probably 5.
Yeah, okay.
And I'm sure you got as much. Yeah. That's perfect. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, you don't have to stick around. Am I good still, or?
Oh, there we go. I can hear it now. Yeah,
okay.
I pulled it out of here.
Oh, I love those headphones, but I kind of hate that about them.
Yeah.
Like a lot of my clients will be like, I'm not getting anything, and it just barely comes out.
It is a nuisance to an extent.
Yeah, but it also is really nice. See you, Sam. It's also really nice because then you can replace that cable.
Yeah, that's and it doesn't break. That's where every other of them break. But if you spend the money on a good set of headphones, they're not going to break. I mean, they have it wired in there well.
True.
These ones are pretty good. I just got a set that was wireless ones, and they have a jack, and it was like $29. I forget the exact name. But I love those. I mean, I can use it for my phone.
Yeah.
I listen to podcasts 24/7 while I'm working, so I just throw that on and get my own little world. But yeah, just watch when you have a cord. That's what kind of sucks about it. But I don't think that camera's advanced enough to do wireless or anything.
Right.
So, still recording. Cool. Doing diversity is nice. In this community, there's a lot of stuff going on, and once you get plugged in, people love you and they'll work with you. So it's pretty easy to get,
And you kind of have to, honestly. That's what I found is you kind of have to be diverse. It's not New York City where you can just shoot 16 millimeter film and do that exclusively, or So that's kind of, we came into it. We wanted to do analog recording. And that was our niche at first, and it worked, and people were really drawn to that, to record to tape. But, pretty soon we realized, well, we have to be able to record to tape, to digital. We have to be able to record to any medium, basically, and however people want to do it. Because there's not that huge of a community here. So, you kind of have to cater to a lot of different types of people, a lot of different types of brands or companies and organizations.
And there's a lot of work you don't have to do too. You can probably stay away from the wedding videos unless you actually absolutely have to for a friend or a relative, and that's about it. I pick and choose my corporate work. I do take as much as I can, by all means. I prefer corporate jobs. They're always the best, They hire you for what you do. They trust you. And as long as you just keep it professional and record, it's never a problem. So I love the corporate events. So if you're watching this and you have a corporate event, one of us will do it, by all means. I mean, we both do the stuff in town, just different varieties and different aspects. And, I've seen their work, and their work is great. So, I'm not here to, to be like, oh no, they're my competition. This is you made it. You said it right on the nail. You got to do everything.
Yeah,
you got to be like a la carte menu. You can't just be a steakhouse.
Right.
I mean, the steaks are great. You have the best steaks in town.
Sure,
but you also got to offer chicken, vegan, dessert, the whole 9 yards. The drinks. It is, but the longer you are around, the more you're established. People will come directly to you, and that's always nice. It's good to see you growing. It's good to see you're still here. It's good to see that. I mean, I just think that's so wonderful. I'm starting to go back and visit people now that I haven't seen in a while and see, if they're still here. A lot of them aren't. Some people died. I mean, it's amazing how things have changed, and you never know, what's going to change. So I'm glad I'm able to capture these stories. And there's a lot of recording companies in town too. This isn't the only game in town, so you got to keep yourself up and doing things. So with possibly doing video series in the future, anything else you have planned, going on in the future?
Well, we've kind of started to dabble in offering creative space to other creatives. So, we have another property that we are using for visual artists, for rehearsals, for producers, basically like pretty affordable, small, creative space right here in Akron. And I think that's just something that over my years here at Furnace Street and through the recording studio have realized that there's a lack of creative space, especially affordable creative space, and one that maybe comes with a community. Summit Art Space is a great example of that, but they're kind of limited, and I know that they're always at capacity. And so it's kind of led me to pivot into having other space for creatives. And that's kind of been a big goal of Akron Recording Companies, is to expand into that. And so this year we're over on Cedar Street in Akron. And
what's that by? I'm horrible with
the Wilson Plumbing and Heating Building, Shaydell, right by Krispy Kreme, Shaydell, the new I Promise housing that's over there. It's a cool area, like the gateway to downtown. So
I know what you're talking about now.
Just trying to build more of the creative community and have space for people for their creative practice.
And that, there's a lot of things you do with creative space. I mean, there's so many definitions of that.
Right.
One thing I was going to talk with you about, we can talk on camera. I'm in the process of switching over to podcast, which is a podcast now, but I'd like to have a space somewhere. And I'm thinking about putting a space at my house and building something, but it's a lot of effort to build a little shed, a heath shed outside, basically big enough to fit 3 people that's comfortable and that I can film in. Do you have anybody doing podcast here? If you do you guys do a podcast here? I mean, is that something you have on your radar?
It's funny. We were just talking about maybe turning one of these rooms into a podcast room, at this creative, this building on Cedar, like designating a room where, it's basically always set up and ready to go. We certainly have the equipment, but that's definitely something we've been thinking about.
Because I just, there's going to be everybody and their uncles running to do this kind of stuff now. There's no doubt about it. I mean, there's a lot of people, and it's a very saturated market. Right. But generally, people do it once, twice, and quit, and they walk away because it's like being a musician. You can't just make one song, and that's all you do. You have to expand. You have to learn. You have to grow.
Consistency, too, is key.
And some of the things that you like the best, not everybody's going to love the best. And they just hit or miss. So, you try a couple different things, and eventually you get it. Right. So I think there's a lot of room in that, and there is probably, because they say that this digital world's going to grow more and more. It hasn't reached its peak and its max, and AI is not going to knock everything out. It's going to, if anything, I think it's going to enhance stuff. I mean, I'm not really scared of AI. What do you, in the audio realm, what's your thoughts on AI? Because I've seen some crazy stuff come from AI in audio.
I mean, I think it's a great tool. I think just like anything, it's just another tool. I don't think it can replace like what an audio engineer does or what a recording engineer does or even what a musician does. But I think it's either a great tool to fix a problem. Some of the AI stuff that we've used is just help us solve a problem a lot quicker than maybe traditional means or what we've been used to. And then I think it's also like to me is an asset in terms of creativity. I don't necessarily agree with like the resources that AI needs. And, I'm not someone who like tries to rely on it, because it's not like great for the environment or something. So I don't really love that. But I think it's just another tool. Like I've used it to try to come up with new ideas for a song, and maybe you just pull one idea from that, or use it to kind of recontextualize an idea, or to like maybe spit out a couple different variations of that same idea. But then I've also been kind of let down by AI when trying to use it for various projects. Like, oh, maybe there's an AI program that can help me accomplish this, and I've been let down several times. So I think it's a great tool. It's amazing. I think you can get some amazing stuff. I know like professional producers are using it in some capacity too, and so there's a lot of potential. And I think it's just the beginning of it for sure.
I can see a lot of ethical ways to do it. The problem would come with unethical ways, at least in the video realm.
Right.
And in theory, I could take 15 minutes of this video and replace you completely and put a whole AI version in it. You say whatever, and you would never know the difference. You might catch a little glitch here and there, but chances are you probably wouldn't notice the difference. I mean, right now, what's the trend I'm seeing are the Sasquatch videos that are AI generated.
Yeah.
I mean, there's just so much. It's a wave I look at, If you can ride this.
I don't think it will ever take the place of like human expression and creativity and like that uniqueness that someone brings. Like you have your own identity, and I feel like AI doesn't create its own identity. It just emulates other identities. And so I think ultimately it'll never take the place of an artist. I think it'll fool a lot of people, like you said. I think a lot of people will be fooled, but I think honestly in the long term it'll make true creativity and true artistry from real people even more valuable, and like a better more valuable form of currency. Like if you're an actual singer and songwriter, I think in the future that's going to stand out because of that authenticity and that uniqueness that only humans can have.
I agree. I think it should be used. I mean, for people watching this, if you are an artist, use it as like a personal assistant.
Right.
Like if you're putting your video up and they want you to write on YouTube, for instance, 5,000 characters about your video, that takes a lot of time to write 5,000 characters with video. AI can pump that out for you really quick and get all your keywords in there and everything.
Right.
Go back and edit it, of course, but use it as a platform. Ways that can help me in the video realm, like if I do a video and it's like, oh, I said the wrong thing. And instead of having the CEO of a company come back in, I could easily replace the words in the audio and people would never know.
Right.
That's how ethical ways. But yeah, use it as your assistant. Use it to set up things. Use it to answer emails for you. Use it to do the stuff you don't want to do.
Yeah, so that you can make more content.
So you can be more creative.
Yeah,
right. So I think it's pretty cool to do it. And if there's ways that you can use it in your realm, whatever it may be, creativity, use it. It's just like the electric guitar comes out. It's like it's a new tool in the toolbox. Right. It's the way I look at it. Just don't run away from it and think the world's going to be over because AI. Now, will AI take some jobs? Yeah, it's going to take a lot of jobs. I'm not trying to say it won't.
Right.
But for creatives, it's still your creativity is what it is, and it's feeding from your creativity. That's how it's finding its creativity.
Yeah. Right.
And it needs you to express itself.
Absolutely.
At least that's what I hope. I hope. I mean, I don't know. There is on the verge. I do see some amazing things sometimes, but I can still see it. I know the difference, But I'm pretty amped to it. I just worry about, I know that I'm old, but I'm thinking people that are like in their 90s, great grandparents can't see that well. And I saw a video online.
Oh yeah,
and
there's
it's not
a lot of problems
real.
that I think that'll come with it for sure.
And I don't know if it'll do good for loneliness or better for loneliness. I don't know if it's going to help people or make it worse. I wonder about that, because lonely people might have a person to talk to now.
Yeah.
But then again, maybe that's a bad thing. I don't know. We're in a whole new world.
There's all kind of movies about that.
Yeah, exactly. So if they came with the telephones at one time, people are like, "Oh my God, all they're gonna do is talk on the telephone. They're never gonna talk to each other." So it's just another element, I guess. I'm not too freaked out about it. I know there's a lot of talk about it, but I do realize that it's just pulling for more information. It'll get bigger and better and grow. But the power consumption, that is a big thing. Check that out. My God, the amount of power. I mean, they're going to open up a nuke plant that they had torn down. Now everybody's behind nukes. If we give nuclear power, I do think it can be safe personally. I mean, it can be done properly, and that's probably a better way to go with fuel. As long as you don't have a spill of some sort, it's probably the most efficient way to produce electricity now that we can do. So who knows? Maybe it'll spur a whole new cold fusion or something technology to make, because it does need a tremendous amount of power to run.
Yeah.
Well, it's good you're not scared of it, and then see it taking over things. Closing up shop tomorrow. With a web address to send you somewhere.
I think when you're like providing a service, you know what I mean. People, there's no substitute for like your eye or your ear, or your collection of equipment that you use that helps produce like those unique results or helps tailor to your client's needs. So, yeah, I don't think that until they have like, robots that are out here doing it, it's not going to threaten anything like that, probably.
Until they get really, really passionate, really, really charismatic. That's what it needs. That's what makes us human. It's our passion, our charisma, our ability to tell a story. There's still a lot of elements that, but I think it will free up a lot of time personally. Yeah, I'm not.
Yeah, hopefully it frees up all the mundane jobs and creates more creative and, where people can actually use like their brain power.
And it can save you a ton of money too for startups. Like if you can't afford a lawyer, you can ask it and they can give you some good answers. It can save you a lot of money. Or if you need a business plan.
A contract or something.
It's not perfect, but it'll give you much better than
gives you a great head start,
And that can save you a lot of costs. Now, once your business gets going and you have money, then you have a lawyer, you can pay for those things. But to start out with, you might just need some help. Any type of contract, any type of waiver, any of that stuff, it'll draw you up one that's personalized as well and looks really good. So embrace it. Okay, so we've been talking for a few minutes now. Anything you want to bring up that I haven't brought up with you so far?
We covered a lot of ground. Talked about the band. We talked about video. We kind of covered a lot.
So I'll just talk about one more thing, and then we'll wrap it up for today. You've probably had a long day and whatnot. I don't want to keep you much longer than I already have, and I appreciate your time. And
for sure.
if you made it through this long in the video, I got to keep remember, like and subscribe to the channel below. I haven't been saying that. I don't know, this organically grow in time. So what's your main passion? If money didn't matter, you didn't have to do whatever, and you could just focus 24/7 on something, where would you be at?
If money wasn't a concern, I would say the passion lies within the local scene here. I would love to be doing projects with local artists and maybe producing them, but for no cost, like just to make a great album for the sake of making a great album, or to make a cool film or video just for the sake of doing it, and using like the best resources and the best people that we have in the area. Like one of my favorite things is when I see some of the Akron and Cleveland jazz community perform with pop musicians or with a rock artist or with a soul band. That stuff has always been my favorite because I love jazz, and I really do. I'm a huge jazz fan, but not everyone else is a big jazz fan. And so I think a lot of people don't understand how much talent we have in this area. So I love when someone who has a great level of skill plays something more accessible or does something a little bit more accessible. So I'd be doing projects like that, and pressing vinyl here in Akron. That's why Akron Recording Company was formed. We originally did a Knight grant with the Knight Foundation to produce records, like manufacture vinyl in Akron. And it didn't work out, but that's what we ended up, that's where the name came from. And the whole idea of getting started in a music business here kind of came from that. So I think that would still be something that's I'm super passionate about, like to start a record label, you know, and to actually be able to have the creative license and freedom to say, hey, I want Theron Brown and, you know, this drum, all these, like an all-star band to come together and let's write and make an amazing piece, you know, amazing music or an amazing album. That's what I would do if I didn't have to worry about finances.
And we could build like a whole scene here. I mean, we have a scene here, but I mean, a scene that people hear about, want to come here and want to emulate.
Right.
We did it before, we can do it again, is the way I look at it. Because I see one of the problems that I see, and this isn't Akron, this isn't a knock to the powers that be, is instead of relying on the locals for their ideas, we have this, I don't know, they have an event every once in a while where we get everybody's opinion on something. Yeah. And everybody's happy to give their opinion, but rarely do I see like those opinions seem to me come to life, you know. Instead, we want to take a trip to L.A. or a trip to Seattle or whatever hot city, San Antonio, you name it, and we're like going to write notes on what they're doing, and we're going to bring it back here to Ohio, and we're going to apply it here, and we're going to make it happen here. Right. And it could happen. It could. But that's not the way it should be done. We should be focusing on the local talent that we have here, because there is a plethora of local talent here. You know why they leave? Because they get discouraged, or they find, or it's just money. You know, I mean, it's just money. You have kids, you have health problems, whatever, and art doesn't pay the bills for the most part. Sometimes it does. Some people are blessed, and some people get, you know, residuals and things of that nature in the music field, and that does. Yeah, it's
crazy. I mean, there's such a wide spectrum, you know, of like artists. It's like there's the person who has a full-time job that just does it for fun and for their passion, and you know, then there are people from this area that have made a pretty big name for themselves. Like honestly, one of my clients, he is like a gospel musician, but now he's on tour with Beyonce. He's touring the nation or the world with Beyonce. He's Beyonce's musical director, and he's from Massillon, which is crazy. I mean, you should do a story with him. He's Beyonce's musical director. I mean, it's. Can
you name drop?
I mean, his name's Kyrie Tyler. He's the band's Red Hands, and basically he's had an incredibly inspiring story. I mean, you're talking about just a crazy journey as a human being, as a musician, and he just has an incredible talent and a great ear and a great mind for music, and lots of people have recognized that. And I mean, he's got Grammys, he's got insane accolades, and when he's in town, Akron Recording Company has been like his home base.
Next time you see him, let him know. I'll make time. I mean, if he wants to record at 3 o'clock in the morning because that's the time they have open, I will be here. Yeah, I mean, if you can host the spot, I would love to interview. I love to talk to people, and no matter what it is, you know, I'll find some commonality with it. I'll find something to talk about.
Oh yeah, I mean, he's. Easy guy to talk to.
And anybody else you come across, and you know, I've done some, you know, interviews which I thought would be like these great interviews, and they've been boring. I've done some with people that weren't that famous that have been just wild and great. I mean, so anybody that has a story to tell, I'd love to sit down and talk with them, you know? Yeah. And usually the more eccentric, the better, or the more known out there, the better. Of course, we all want to get that out there, but, you know, this is the format, I think, which is great. Just sit down and talk with somebody.
But sometimes someone just has such an inspiring story, and honestly, I think that's this guy. His story is honestly... it'll bring you to tears, you know. Another really amazing, inspiring work that we've been a part of was the Remember Balloons project with Dominic Moore Dunson and Theron Brown. I mean, so last summer we spent, I think it must have been 2-3 weeks recording, and we had members of the Akron Symphony Orchestra and Pittsburgh Symphony Orchestra here. And basically it's a dance piece that has live music. There was like banjo, there was cello, there was violins. It's kind of like, it's a very American sounding music, but it's a whole piece, a dance piece. There's projections, there's live music, but it's based on a children's book that Dominic, a dancer and choreographer, read when he was at the library with his children about in like tough subjects for children or hard things to talk about with your kids aisle at the library about your grandparent and losing them to dementia or Alzheimer's. And so then he basically took this book, got full like creative rights from the author and everything to produce a dance show on this whole piece. And it's all about kids in dealing with like losing someone to Alzheimer's or dementia. And I mean, it was like such a powerful piece. The music, alone would bring tears to your eyes. The choreography, the story behind it, super powerful piece.
And then is it videoed as well? Is there a whole story, like video story behind this component?
So they did video, they videoed the performance. So I think they have they debuted it in Washington, D.C., but they do have a full video of the performance, and then they have what is it called? Like a scrim? So they have projections, and the actor or the dancers can go in front of it or behind it, and it's definitely multimedia. But yeah, it was an amazing piece. It's super, because everyone who came into the studio for that project, everyone had a relationship to dementia. It was crazy that, even if you initially, if you didn't think about it, everyone was like, oh yeah, well I guess my wife's grandma had it and I never knew and how it affected her, or, man, this happened to my grandma or this happened to my dad. So it was just something, it's like a terrible disease, but I don't know, it was just a great piece, super inspiring.
So when you were working on that, did they have a lot of stories going on about dementia while the piece is going on that you're taking in? Yeah.
So Dominic kind of led that, and so as the musicians went in, he kind of had to brief everyone on, what's the scene and the performance, and this is when the kid finds out that his grandpa has lost his balloons or lost a memory, the remember balloons. So it was balloons signifies a memory. And so this kid, and his grandpa, they shared the same color balloon. We both had a silver balloon. And one day, they used to go fishing, and one day the grandpa, he loses a silver balloon, and he doesn't remember these experiences with his grandkid. It was Dominic, as the musicians would come in, he would tell this story, and it brought people to tears every day.
I once did an interview series on vets and suicide, and then children's and suicide.
Wow.
I spent all day interviewing these people, and then I had to go back and edit it for a couple of weeks.
Oh, man.
And that was so tasking on my soul. I felt just, wow. And there's people that edit that stuff all the time.
Yeah.
And they're inspiring stories when they get done, and they help a tremendous amount of people. And it's blessed the people that put them out there. But it's really hard. I mean, it's hard to take that stuff in all day and then try to make something out of it.
Especially when you feel when you have empathy for other people, it's you can't help but think about putting yourself in their shoes, or what if this happens to me or someone I know. Yeah.
And on the editing end of it, when you're in the editing room,
you gotta watch it over and over and over.
And it's just I don't want to watch this anymore. I gotta be done with it.
Yeah, we did interviews with cancer survivors, and they're survivors, so they're very inspiring stories, but still the stories of their journey are just, you can't imagine going through that, and it weighs heavy on your heart to hear other people talk about those stories, even though they're a survivor, and that's a great hope and amazing feat to overcome something like cancer. But sitting there and watching and listening to that over and over, Yeah, it's not for the faint of heart.
And I don't know, for people that want to get into this field, whether it's like if you're in the production realm of audio or video, you're basically an editor.
Right.
You edit it. You do more than edit, a lot more, but you do a lot of editing. And that editing is all different types of things and behind the computer. Many hours. I mean, they say it's like 4-to-1 ratio or something, 4 hours for every hour you spend in the studio. And that's probably being generous. It's probably more, actually. So I see, and we're going to wrap this up here in a couple seconds. So I see you have an intern, which has got to be great because that's one of the hardest parts is the edit. It takes me so long to get the edits going. Once I enjoy it. I mean, I must admit, but it's hard. Yeah. It's really hard to edit.
Yeah, it's been awesome having interns. We've been so lucky to have some really great students. One of my main videographers was a result of, his internship. And in 2020, he was basically the one that helped us kind of transition into doing video production. And we've been hiring him ever since. So yeah, it's a great, pipeline, if you will, for contractors, for the business to help out. Like we have several audio engineers that have been interns as well. And, it's great because you give them, the digital media production program at Kent, I guess, is one of the biggest growing majors. And we must have had 30 students from that program alone. And it's great to have fresh energy and, new faces in the studio and, on set or in a session to help out. But it really is clear to me that it's a value to them. I mean, obviously, like I think any internship or apprenticeship, like you have to put in some effort and you have to care about it and you have to love what you're going into. In this field, I try to tell them, like, you have to love it. If you don't love it, if you're not fascinated by video or audio, and just want to soak it up, then it might not be the right thing for you because it's a grind and it's not going to be easy. And I feel like you have to have that passion for it. But it's clear to me that the students don't get a lot of hands-on work at the university. And so through the internship, hopefully that's something that we change. Getting their hands on edits, getting their hands on cameras, getting their hands on the audio equipment, and putting it into practice. A lot of them will say, oh yeah, we used the camera twice, or we did a multi-camera edit once. Some of the students come in, they're, might not know how to set up a tripod or work with like hardware for a stand. So I think it's a vital part of it, but yeah, it's keeps like that fresh energy, new ideas. Yeah. And I mean, just a huge help to organize a shoot, a bunch of footage. And so then when we go in to edit it, we already kind of trimmed all the stuff that we don't need out, or it's all synced up, ready to go. And all we have to do is make the decision on what cuts we want now.
Man, I need to find me some interns. I've been doing this way too long by myself. Though I got to admit, it's hard for me to let control go.
Yeah, I mean,
but you can still have control.
It's a lot of work, It's not like you can just expect someone. And some students, can just come in and get every single thing you're doing. And that's like where like Adam, my videographer, that's how the relationship was with us. But you have to invest time in it because, you have to make sure that they know what you want and what your standards are and how you, run your video shoots. But, I think when you put a little of the time in, it's definitely worth it. And, but it's like a symbiotic relationship. Both have to put the time and care in for it to be successful, I think.
And never underestimate what you can learn, too, from an intern.
Well, absolutely,
they can teach you so much stuff that you don't know about.
That's been one of the greatest things is that all kinds of, whether it's, I never knew about this app or I never knew about this way of doing something. Yeah, it's awesome. And I mean, it also gives you faith, like in the younger generation, that there still are great students out there and there's still people that want to work hard. And, I think there's a lot of connotations with the like Gen Z and stuff. I'm a millennial, so there's a lot of connotations, but I think, there's still plenty of great students out there. I've had great interns.
I taught at Kent State for about a year and a half as an associate professor for their intern program, for their introduction video program.
Oh, okay.
That was many years ago.
Yeah.
And I was surprised how many of them just didn't have it.
Yeah.
They just didn't want to be there. And you can't make them want to be there.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like you have to have that passion. I was like the easiest professor too. I just come to the classes and just do something for a video. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just turn in and give them the. Just make something.
And and it still it just didn't get it sometimes.
Yeah.
And it's just not their passion.
Yeah, and I think that's college in general is young people. It's hard to know what you want to do. Like I didn't go to college for audio or video, but it was passion that brought me to this point. I always played music and I made videos a lot when I was younger, back on VHS cameras, and it was just my curiosity that led me here. And passion. If you're into something enough, I think you can make a career out of it. Honestly, if it's productive,
By far. And, because I went back, my memory's not this good, but I went back and watched the videos from 6 years ago, and it was your grandmother. She had a recording device. Your first recording was on that, right? So that's where it can start at. Go through your mind. Think about what you did. And what you point out. College. If you go to college, great. And if you go for whatever program, great. But you don't necessarily have to either. You can be a 10-year-old at home with a video camera,
right?
And you can make whatever, or a good audio, a Zoom audio recorder, and a couple XLR cables and a microphone.
SM58.
You can make anything.
Yeah.
So. Go do it. Go do it now. Embrace your passions. It's going to take a lot of hard work, a lot of time, a lot of effort. But look, you could be at a place just like this somewhere along the line if you just, stay diligent. And it's all about telling that story, whether it be through an audio production or video production. And I think they're both, they do come together.
Oh yeah.
I think everything that should be videoed, because when I watch the Beatles on the Disney Channel, and they're I don't know how long that episode they were, but they were
they're long.
long. It's like a 12, 15-hour. But I was just so grateful that they did that. To see Paul McCartney sit down and just start playing a piano tune, and we all know
pretty
it.
Crazy,
but he didn't know it, and they didn't know it. And just imagine if we had all those times recorded. Now, there's some things you don't want on camera. You can cut them out, throw them away, whatever.
Right.
But we need to capture this because this is who we are, and it brings it all together. And somebody will appreciate it sometime. Someone will see it, and much like those Beatles record, they probably hated having the cameras there, couldn't stand it. But look how much pleasure it brought people to watch that, and to show them in a way that we'll never ever see. Who would have known that they would be gone that quickly? And that's the last you would ever really see them together. And there it is.
Yeah.
So if you're watching this podcast and you like video, you like audio, go do it. Hit me up, hit him up. Whatever. We'll do internships. We'll get you doing stuff if you're passionate. If you're just looking for a job and to make money, I'm not going to speak for you, but I don't want to talk to you. Really, if you're just looking to make money and you don't care about video production and storytelling, go elsewhere. Go find your hustle somewhere else, because you're not going to find it here. You're not going to find your love here,
right?
Because you're going to spend a lot of time behind a camera or behind a computer or behind is something you normally don't do. But
and you got to. I think in this field you kind of have to. You just kind of have to do it, and there's going to be a lot of time where you're not rewarded for it. You have to do projects for free. You have to do stuff just to get your name out there. You're going to have to be an assistant for a while before you start running the show or running a camera. You're going to have to. It's like anything, but I think more so in the creative field, you have to kind of just get out there and do it and make a name for yourself first. And then kind of expect money later. Exactly. If ever, right? So you can't be for the money. It has to be for the love.
It definitely has to be for the love. And it's easy now. That's the other thing. Technology's definitely gotten easier. So it's the best time ever to do this kind of stuff. You can really start with all kinds of things. You can start with your phone.
Yeah, our biggest competitor, I often say, is people recording themselves, people recording at home, people doing it DIY. Because, that's what we did that's why we're here, because of DIY. And that's still something that we try to keep like in our mission, is that we still have an element of DIY. I'm not, above doing something maybe in a different way than I would normally do it, and so if it's for the right aesthetic or for the right project, sometimes, it doesn't have to be this perfectly produced thing. And
some of your favorite albums out there have been DIY in the living room. The White Stripes, I think, first 2 albums were in a living room. Then they tried to capture that sound afterwards.
Yeah, I mean, the Black Keys, did the same thing.
It's just when you have if you have the ability to do it. Another thing I want to talk real quick to go back to before we wrap it up is, if you're doing that intern work, it's because you need to grow. I mean, I thought my video work was awesome when I was 20 years old, and I actually didn't start doing it until I was about 25. Yeah. I thought I had the best stories. I did the best camera work. I had the best editing. Yeah. And you know what? It was long-winded. It was boring. My voice wasn't good. It took years to get decent at it. And I'm not claiming I'm great at it by any means. I'm just comfortable in my own skin. Right. And I do what I do. And that's the other thing. Find who you are. Find who you are. Find your voice. Don't chase somebody else's voice. You know? You can emulate somebody. You can homage to them, whatever, but find your own voice.
Absolutely.
And I know that, I did some schooling for this, but if I would have just tailed somebody and had a camera and I was little, I could do this all myself. And, just anyways. So I've had you here for an hour now, and I don't want to keep any longer. I greatly appreciate what you do for the city, what you do for this community, what you do for the musicians. If it wasn't for you, there probably wouldn't be a whole lot of places producing the stuff, at least the quality, the content. And I'm not knocking any other recording companies in Akron. It's not that at all. But you're doing a whole package production here in a good quality manner.
Thank you.
Not just showing up with, my phone and a little microphone hooked up to it. I'll make you something good. You're doing good products. And you're putting Akron on the map, one step at a time. Thank you for making dreams come true, getting those interns and getting that fire stoked, because that's the best, that wildfire. You start that fire here in Akron, hopefully it'll stay, but it might spread. At least it'll start, right? But anyways, I could talk for hours about video production and audio production in this building because I love it. But I'm going to wrap it up. Thank you. And thank you for watching this. Hit that subscribe button, that like button down there. And this has been Blue Green's World.